You know what's wild? We live in an age where you can watch someone explain quantum physics in 7 minutes flat, but somehow memorizing your grocery list still feels like trying to empty the ocean with a bucket. I mean, we've got smartphones that can recognize our faces, order pizza with a voice command, and tell us the weather in Tokyo. But ask most people to remember where they put their keys, and suddenly we're all suffering from selective amnesia. Here's the thing that'll blow your mind. Your brain isn't broken. It's just been lied to by every study guru who told you to highlight everything in neon yellow until your textbook looks like a rainbow had an accident. Most memorization advice is about as useful as a chocolate teapot, and frankly, it's time we called out this educational nonsense for what it is. The real kicker? Your brain is already a memorization machine. You can probably recite every embarrassing thing you did in 7th grade with photographic precision. Remember the exact lyrics to that song you heard once in 2019, and somehow never forget the Wi-Fi password at your friend's house. But mention memorizing something actually useful, and suddenly your brain goes on strike like it's demanding better working conditions. Let's start with the most ridiculous lie you've been told about memory: that you need to sit there and repeat things over and over like some kind of human printer stuck in a loop. This is what I call the goldfish method, because it assumes your brain has the attention span of something that forgot it was swimming 3 seconds ago. Newsflash: your brain craves novelty, not mindless repetition. It's like trying to entertain a hyperactive toddler by showing them the same cartoon 17 times in a row. Eventually, they're going to lose their minds, and so are you. The truth about memorization is that it's all about creating what psychologists call elaborative encoding. That's fancy talk for making information stick by connecting it to stuff you already know. Think of your brain as that friend who can remember every plot detail from obscure TV shows but can't remember to take out the trash. The difference? One connects to their interests and emotions, the other doesn't. Here's where it gets interesting. Your brain doesn't actually store memories like files in a computer. It stores them like a drunk person telling a story, mixing facts with emotions, adding random details, and somehow making it all weirdly memorable. The key is working with this chaos, not against it. Take the method of Loki, which sounds fancy but is basically turning your memory into a weird mental house tour. You pick a familiar place like your childhood home and mentally place the things you want to remember in specific locations. Need to memorize a presentation? Put your first point by the front door, second point in the kitchen, third point in that weird hallway closet where your family stored Christmas decorations and broken dreams. Why does this work so well? It feels almost criminal. Because your brain is evolutionarily wired to remember spatial information. Your ancestors needed to remember where food was, where danger lurked, and how to get back home without GPS. They didn't need to memorize PowerPoint slides, but lucky for you, the same neural pathways work for both avoiding saber-toothed tigers and acing your next exam. But here's where most people mess it up. They make their memory palace too boring. Look, if you're going to put your shopping list in your mental house, don't just place milk on the kitchen counter like a normal person. Make it memorable. Picture a cow doing ballet in your kitchen, spraying milk everywhere while wearing a tutu. Your brain will remember that ridiculous image because it's emotionally engaging and completely unexpected. The psychology behind this is fascinating. Your brain has what researchers call a negativity bias, which means it pays more attention to things that are unusual, surprising, or slightly disturbing. It's why you can remember every awkward thing you said at a party 5 years ago, but forget where you put your sunglasses 5 minutes ago. Use this quirk to your advantage. Make your memory cues weird, funny, or slightly inappropriate. Your brain will thank you by actually remembering them. Now, if the memory palace thing sounds like too much work, there's another technique that's equally effective but feels more like playing a game. It's called the story method, and it's basically turning everything you need to remember into the world's weirdest Netflix series. Instead of trying to memorize a list of random items, you create a narrative that connects them all. Let's say you need to remember the periodic table. Instead of chanting hydrogen, helium, lithium like some kind of chemistry monk, you create a story. Hydrogen Harry meets Helium Helen at a lithium-powered disco where they dance until Beryllium Boris crashes the party with his boron-based band. The more ridiculous the story, the better your brain will remember it. Speaking of ridiculous, let's talk about something that'll make your high school teachers weep. You can actually use procrastination as a memory tool. I know, it sounds like I'm suggesting you cure insomnia with espresso, but hear me out. There's something called the spacing effect that shows you remember things better when you review them at increasing intervals rather than cramming everything into one marathon session. This means that thing you do where you study something, forget about it for a week, panic, and then review it again. You've accidentally stumbled onto one of the most effective memorization techniques ever discovered. Scientists call it spaced repetition, but I call it the accidental genius method. And speaking of accidental genius, if you're finding these memory hacks helpful and you want to unlock even more ways to make your brain work like it's actually on your side, hit that subscribe button. Because let's be honest, we're all just trying to function like competent adults here, and every little trick helps. The spacing effect works because your brain interprets the effort required to recall forgotten information as a signal that this stuff must be important. It's like your brain saying, if this person keeps coming back to this information, maybe I should actually file it somewhere I can find it later, instead of tossing it into the mental equivalent of that junk drawer everyone has but never organizes. But here's what really makes memorization feel illegal: combining multiple techniques. Take the story method, add some spatial memory, throw in a bit of emotional connection, and suddenly you're remembering things with the kind of precision that makes people think you've got some kind of superhuman memory. You don't. You just stopped fighting your brain's natural tendencies and started working with them instead. The real secret sauce is understanding that memory isn't about perfect recall. It's about creating enough hooks that you can pull the information back when you need it. Think of it like hide and seek, but instead of hiding in obvious places, you're hiding memories in multiple locations with multiple clues pointing to each hiding spot. And here's something they don't tell you in school. The act of trying to remember something, even if you fail, actually strengthens the memory. Psychologists call this the testing effect, but I call it the beautiful failure method. Every time you try to recall something and come up short, your brain marks that information as important and stores it more securely for next time. This is why cramming the night before an exam feels like it works but fails you during the actual test. You're not giving your brain enough opportunities to fail and learn from those failures. It's like trying to build muscle by lifting weights once and expecting to look like a bodybuilder. Memory, like muscle, grows stronger through repeated stress and recovery. The final piece of this memory puzzle is something most people overlook entirely: sleep. Your brain doesn't just rest during sleep. It's actually working harder than a retail worker during Black Friday, consolidating memories and filing away the day's information. Pulling an all-nighter to memorize something is like trying to save a document on a computer while it's updating. Sure, it might work, but you're also likely to lose everything and end up more frustrated than when you started. So there you have it. Memory isn't magic, and it doesn't require superhuman discipline. It just requires understanding that your brain is already incredibly good at remembering things, as long as you give it information in a format it actually wants to process. Stop fighting against your brain's natural tendencies and start working with them. Make things weird, space out your practice, Create stories that connect random facts, and for the love of all that is holy, get some sleep. Your brain is capable of memorizing vast amounts of information with startling accuracy. You just need to stop treating it like a broken computer and start treating it like the wonderfully chaotic, story-loving, pattern-seeking machine it actually is. Once you do that, memorization stops feeling like work and starts feeling like the most useful superpower you never knew you had.